So Puppy will be playing position 5 Nature's Prophet, so expect a lot of courier kills again, Synderin. I feel like maybe that's just a prerequisite when he picks these lines. Like, I have to be able to kill couriers. If I don't, then I'm not picking it for myself. Somebody else is playing it. So for teams that are watching, just know that is the strategy. Look forward to the future games just like that. Of course, I don't think he's ever going to beat his Weaver. Impossible.
Very unlikely.
So it's going to be Celery's Enchantress and Toby's Chen in the bot lane. So they're teaming up these two heroes that usually face off against each other, at least historically speaking, against Matumba's Lone Druid, which is tried and true, one of his staple heroes, if you will, along with, like we said, Puppy's Nature's Prophet. So what do you think of this lane right now? As obviously Toby will have to solo this to a degree at times, as Celery will probably be in and out of the jungle.
I think this is a very easy lane for Lone Druid. So if this was a 2v1, Lone would struggle because of the constant harassment. But what Nature's Prophet can do in the off lane like this is he can block both camps every minute. Something that was very much popularized by Bulldog back at TI3 with both Nature's Prophet and Lone Druid was using the summon to block the camps. And Puppy is obviously very aware of the way you do this and when you time it and how to do it correctly. So you see him looping around the treants here to run away from Enchantress. She wants to enchant one of them, but he's going to put both of them in the same camp and stand in the other. So even if she were to enchant one and run it out, the other one is still protecting the camp. It would be tempting to put one in
on a
each,
treant, right?
Yeah.
So
you could understand it would be tempting to put one in each camp and then play in the lane, but he thinks that this is more important, and I agree with that. Like you're basically nullifying Enchantress like this. You're both just there.
At what point do you just juke them and go to the enemy jungle and take something instead? I feel like that's coming soon.
It's a possibility. Celery could start looking to pressure top instead. I wouldn't be too mad at that. There's no kill threat mid, though. Like, it's a brood mid. They're not going to do anything to this Tiny. Even if Enchantress comes in with a perfect creep, I don't think there's ever going to be a kill in this lane.
I meant going just slightly above.
Oh, to the enemy triangle. I see. Yeah, he could definitely consider that, but I think Puppy's kind of blocking him off with his movements, right? He's always, like, the movement path there, Puppy has a ward seeing the Enchantress movements, and every time Ench comes close, he just fights her with two treants and himself, and he is stronger, so she yields. And there you go, he's gonna block the camp again. You know, if you're playing Ench here, you feel really bad, because, like, yeah, you know this guy is getting about the same as you are, which is not much, but this is your hero. What's happening right now. This is what it needs to do, and it's just getting completely nullified.
No, I totally agree. And the worst part about it is, like, even if Puppy doesn't get anything more out of this, he has the potential to get courier kills. Like, beginning of this game, if all he did was get courier kills, which I'm sure he will get at some point, that's him doing his job at the extreme early stage of this game. During the laning stage, at least. Top lane, we have Aramis on Clockwork, Shad on, like we mentioned, the position 1.
Oh, that's a good fissure.
Blocked off here.
That is a really good fissure.
Shaker. Doing as much right clicks as possible as these cogs will actually double proc. Shad looks like he'll live.
Very well played by both teams there, actually. Those cogs needed to be perfect from Aramis, and they were. Obviously, Secret with the big win. They forced out a salve. Shad lost some CS. And of course, they're playing Doom.
One creep yet? Oh, wait. Oh, he's still blocking.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, Puppy is actually destroying right now in his own way. Looking at the CS, though, for the bot lane, 11-3 for Matu, which is actually a little bit surprising. Chen, in the meantime, 19-5. So he's actually doing a better job as he's taken over a couple creeps now to help him. The range creeps, especially the piercing damage. Do they even call it piercing damage anymore? Is that just like a hidden mechanic?
Yeah. I mean, Chen is expected to outfarm here. Oh, they're going to kill the... Oh, if they kill the bear here, that's bad for them.
Yeah, the fear goes off as it looks like First Blood's actually going to go the way of Shad. Denied the Panda Bear, though.
Important. So that's basically a hero kill. But yeah, First Blood for Boom top with... Or, not Boom. It's just... His guild is called Boom. Or Shad.
Boom!
Boom is playing in mid.
Yeah.
Shad and Aramis getting the first blood onto the Doom. So
his guild is named after himself. That's very narcissistic. Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, Matu's taking some bad damage here, trying to kill these creeps. Not working. Yeah. So I thought Lone Druid. I honestly thought Lone Druid would be faring better than this, but just thinking about it and looking at the numbers, it's kind of expected. Toby has a huge damage advantage. His hero has 8 damage more than Matu's, and then he has 2 range creeps that each deal 40. Whereas Matu's bear deals 35. So in total, Chen has like a 50 damage advantage. in this lane if all of his units hit correctly. And that is difficult for Lone Druid to deal with. They're actually really winning the lane on CS. More than I thought. I thought Lone would be pretty happy with this, but...
I mean, Celery's more annoyed with the fact that he hasn't been able to get any creeps, but I guess they are doing well enough that it doesn't really matter that much, but we'll see. Mid lane is the one lane we have yet to discuss because there's been so much to talk about. Nisha on the Tiny versus Boom with the Broodmother. So right now he has the advantage in terms of the experience because he's going in and out of the jungle. The CS is basically identical, but it's a bit deceiving from both sides, actually. So I guess it maybe evens out not only the spiderlings, but the extra neutrals that Brood is taking out. But what are your thoughts on this lane as a whole? Because Nisha, obviously, you talked about the level 4 tree throw. We'll be able to cleave the spiderlings pretty easily if they stick around.
Tiny wins this lane, I'm pretty sure. Like, it's also what's happening right now. He's ahead by 600 net worth minute 6, and he's hitting the tower. And every time Brood comes over, he just has this happen to him. So yeah. Pretty much going as expected. You give Nisha a favorable matchup, he's gonna perform.
Middle tower is under attack.
Biggest concern for Viking, honestly, is if his mid tower falls. Like, that is really bad news. Their Brood can't let this happen. He's gonna glyph. I think Nisha will
Lane,
take this
a
tower.
lot of damage being done to Zai. Aramis is not gonna be able to get the kill. Those blocked off by the fissure as well. And we'll actually have to run away a little bit awkwardly here, but Zai is now level 6. I assume he takes Doom unless there's something I don't know about his build these days. I do love even though it's been a while, the changes to Devour, being able to get that extra regen to stay in lane. It looks like the tier 1 tower will be pressured by both Toby and Celery right now in that bot lane. Looks like the fort will come out as well. So for the Tiny Cinder, and you're gonna have to, well, we're gonna have to wait on this thought just here. As I actually TP's in bottom, has the Doom up, of course. Pretty sure they saw him. Not sure what this rotation's all about. He's just walking in now. Maybe they're switching lanes a bit. Now that he's level 6, he can start running around, perhaps.
This rotation basically enables Lone Druid, right? They want Lone Druid to have a better time because the early stages of the laning stage were rough. So what this rotation does is, yes, you show your Doom, but he's already level 6, has his start. You give the space to the clock, or sorry, to the Shaker top who needs some levels and farm. Oh, Puppy even TP'd up there. He could be in trouble.
Yeah. That is a swap into a Venge stun. Aramis. Battery Assault not too helpful unless the swap comes in again, which it does, and he's inside the cog. And the Rocket Flare will finish off Puppy. Who has yet to kill a courier, by the way. What the hell?
Is this real Puppy?
Tower now. Being pressured. It's already at half HP. Celery's kind of stuck in an awkward spot right now. Zai will pop that Scorched Earth. Celery does get some help from Toby. Of course, Doom is available. I don't think that's enough to get this kill, though. So just spacing things out for Matu to continue to hit this tower.
And now, because of this rotation, Matu has caught up to Chin. And what it cost was for Doom to lose, I wouldn't say 2 waves. But they weren't really flat-out losses because both Yapzor and Puppy were top to take the experience and some of the gold. I think this is something that a lot of players, even at the pro level, don't think about enough, is you still may be caught up in this old way of thinking with, okay, core is farm and supports move. And a lot of the time, having a high-level core move is a super impactful play. You're seeing right here what it led to, right?
Yapzor, top lane, he was TPing. It gets cancelled by the Battery Assault in the fog. And down he goes. No TP for him now for quite a while. But he has his sights set on, obviously, that Blink Dagger. I wanted to talk about Tiny, Cinderin, since it's been a while since I've seen the mid-Tiny. Old school days when you go like the max avalanche toss, obviously it's all about getting Blink Dagger and stuff like that. But this right-click type Tiny Mask of Madness was the build for a while. I'm guessing that has changed. Right now it's just a casual Morbid Mask into an AC, really. First main item. Interesting. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Is Aramis trying to go for this outpost?
Oh, nice.
It looks like it will remain in Secret's favor. As Shad, yep, the toss or the swap into a kill. So actually both outposts going to Secret right there. That's pretty big, despite losing all they lose is the position 5 Puppy.
Yeah, I think they'll take that, especially if they can defend their tower here. I'm not sure they can, though. This push is extremely powerful. It's level 4 Venjora. It's Chen with his army. Yeah. Tom of the Dominator.
dead.
See a tower.
And there's a tomato. Nothing can beat
Dire's
a
top
ripe
tower has
tomato.
fallen.
That is for damn sure. If we've
That
learned
is
anything.
true. You do hate those.
Mid lane,
Mid
we're gonna
lane.
see the first doom of the game. The centaur
missed
stomp
the
will
stomp.
miss though. And with that, I believe Brood should be
Radiant structures
fine.
are fortified.
He's extremely fast, but he actually has run out of webs. Zai's going to continue to chase under the tier 2
Dire's
now. The
courier
Scorched Earth is
has
dealing
been
with a lot of damage, but there's the heal from Chen, and you're seeing the Diffusal Blade being
Radiant's middle
shown.
tower has
Zai
fallen.
able to get the stomp only onto one hero, though. He's going to have to tank this tower. It doesn't look to be in his favor this time around. They do get the tier 1 mid, those secrets, but looks like they're going to have to fall back now.
Yeah. Nice Hand of God. Viking are very good at using the spell as late as possible to bait. They did the same thing in their last series against Secret that I think Celery was playing Chen. They had a really big play come out from a Hand of God turnaround. But, like, this wasn't really a win for them. They lost their tower, and I think the Doom is worth less than the tower right now. Zai is definitely slowing his own game down to try to benefit his
Dire's
team from a
middle
macro
tower is under
perspective. Like,
attack.
yeah, his farm isn't that great, but you're getting a lot of space for Lone Druid. You're opening up the map. You're getting Shaker a bit of a space bottom so he can get a dagger. All these things contribute a lot. And hopefully for Zai, he can still manage to kind of recover now. Because his net worth is not looking great anymore for a safe laner.
Yeah, that is for sure. Matu's build, by the way, will be the typical Mask of Madness first on the bear into an MKB. So we've been seeing a lot of Deso into AC. He's not going for that. Celery. Oh, wow. That Nature's Prophet ult brought him down extremely low. He's baiting a little bit here as Doom's going to get netted up. A TP in from Puppy, though. Does have Sprout available. It's going to get Celery inside, and that looks to be his Doom. No pun intended. As Toby, in the meantime, completely surrounded by Secret members. That's going to be 2 easy kills for Secret as they... I'm not sure if they're actually going to go for this tier 2 bot,
Dire's
but
top tower is under
Shad and
attack.
company are top lane, so they do have to worry about this push as well.
I feel like they didn't account for the Nature's Prophet there with their play Viking when they started baiting. Made it really easy for Puppy there. But not the end of the world. You lose 2 heroes like this. It's obviously not great, but no extra structural damage. The tower was already gone. And in the meantime, your Brood got quite a bit of work done mid going on the Tiny with the Diffusal Blade,
Radiant's
obviously.
bottom tower is under attack.
Pretty problematic for Nisha. But yeah, I mean, as far as his item build goes, this is indeed very weird. Casual Morbid Mask, I think you almost always buy the Mom when you go this route on Tiny.
Dire's middle tower
But I think the
is
reason he
under
wants
attack.
the AC
Radiant
as fast
are
as possible
scanning.
is, if you look at how Viking's strategy works, right? It's really physical based. It's Chen creeps, it's Brood Spiders, it's Venge, Aura. And I don't think he wants to buy Crimson because he needs to scale. So they'll have somebody else take care of that. Hopefully the Doom would buy it. Or, yeah, probably even Nature's Prophet, but he's going mech. You know, classic Pup, he's buying armor. His Medallion, now he's going mech. You know, every game. He likes his armor.
The jungle always speaks to him as well. He always gets, what's that one called again? The armor that lowers your
Medallion?
attack rate. No, it's from the jungle. I can't even remember the name right
Dire are
now. But
scanning.
Oh, the Craggy Coat?
yes, Craggy
Yeah.
Coat. Very good, Cinderin. Well,
Dire's
Armus was
middle
smoked up. They're
tower
gonna,
is under
Zion Company are
attack.
going to see him. The Rocket Flare comes out. Nisha whiffs the Avalanche. Armus looks like he'll just be boxed in, though. An interesting toss. Either way, this will be a kill going away with Secret again. Looks like Zai is going for drums before... I agree that Crimson is probably going to be the item after that, but... AB for Matu. Like I was saying, we typically see the Mask of Madness into Deso AC, or at least that's been the most popular I've seen. But switching
He
up this time
probably
around.
needs it against Incapacitating Bite.
Dire's
That
middle
has to be the
tower
reason,
is
right?
under attack.
The blind from Brood is really heavy
Dire's
on the bear.
structures are fortified.
Probably
Fissure
the
top onto Toby, into the stomp from Zai. And he does have his ult, Toby does. He pops it, but not going to matter a whole lot.
Yapso used Echo only on the creeps. And I think he killed the whole
See
army.
that. Mid lane, we're going to see a
That's
hook
good
shot,
value.
as well as Brood's ult being used to go to town onto Nisha, who's just completely stuck in
He's
these
so
spots.
tanky though.
Dire's middle tower
It's going to be a
is
tier
under
1 tower to
attack.
beat.
Nicely done from Viking there. It's big. They open up the map a bit more for themselves. And they put their Venge to good use in this game so far. They're playing very aggressively with Shad. And his farm isn't really suffering too much from it either. He still has 100 CS. 110 even. So he's doing
Looks like
very
he's
well
going
for himself.
for Manta first item for the Vengeful Spirit. Obviously, Toby working towards Mech. Any item timings that you're... Oh, I was going to say item timings to be able to go for Roche, but it looks like this is going to be the time. As the Tiny is dead, and this looks to be a relatively quick Roche.
Yep. Their lineup is
Aegis,
really good.
I would
for killing
imagine... Would this be a Brood or a Venge Aegis?
Roshan has fallen to the ring.
I don't have to worry about being doomed anymore.
Almost has Ags too on the Brood.
Yeah,
So
that's a
that
good
will
one.
ramp him up a lot. He's going to get way more access.
Radiant's
When
top
you're
tower
playing
is
Brood
under
in your
attack.
team, it's so important to get just a couple of towers because of how much of an area your Brood can cover compared to other heroes. Once you get the Ags, you really get
Radiant's top
insane
tower
reach
is under
for farming.
attack.
So the fact that I can manage to get this mid tower before he got the Ags is going to pay off big time, and his ability to just cut
Radiant's
through
bottom
and start
tower
getting
is
access to
under
the
attack.
camps. Yeah,
He has seen bot lane. The Sprout will slow him a bit, and it's going to be more than enough for Secret to kill him. I guess they want Zai to get the kill. That was interesting movement. I don't
Nisha?
think they needed to block for that long.
Didn't get the toss back.
Right clicks from Tiny do hurt a lot as the Enchantress is actually going to buy back into the game. Toby already low on mana. He's going to get stomped. Get the swap come out into the Dune immediately onto Shad. Armis with the hook shot onto Nisha now, who's stuck inside the cogs with very little mana, but he's right-clicking to a high amount, or a high degree, and that's more than enough to actually kill the Clockwork. Vengeful Spirit resigns to her death. Looks like she'll get a little bit of damage before dying there, as Nisha looks to be next on the list. So it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Secret right now in terms of numbers. Boom staying alive with just a sliver of HP. Looks like Toby is going to be brought down though again. So it's a double kill for Zai. Double kill for Celery on the backside. Is it going to continue now onto both the bear and Zai himself? Matu. Looks like the drums are going to be popped by Zai. That's not enough to save him. Matu attempting to TP out the bear. It's going to be close, but no, the last right click from Boom. That extra bounty going his way. And that was the... Oh, no, I'm sorry. He resummoned now, so he does have a second bear in tow.
Yep.
That's
That
a
looked
lot
like
of
a very secret-heavy fight for such a long time, but then they finally brought down the Tiny and it started opening up. Like, it takes them a long time to kill Nisha. When he runs out of mana, he just has so much health and armor still to work with that Brood needs to chew through. But yeah, they finally do get him, and then the fight can start opening up a little bit.
Dire
I
are
do
scanning.
worry a little bit for Viking that if they go on the Tiny like this and Secret are closer, that it's going to cost too much. It's kind of like, think of how a lot of the time you don't want to open on a Wraith King because
Puppy's
it
dead.
takes too long, right?
Likely dead. He actually pops the mech. Will stay alive as a result. Enchantress bit off a little too much here.
She's going to get Nature's Wrath
Where are you
here.
going?
Hand of God. Heals are a decent
didn't
amount. See if they
bounce.
get vision here. Sprout was canceled. They're going to turn this around now onto Zai with Shad dealing so much damage, and Boom is here as well. Looks like that's going to be 2 easy kills going the way of Viking now, as they can easily transition this into a tier 2. And they still have the Aegis on Boom, so he almost died in that last fight, but remained alive and
Dire's top tower
can still
is
use
under
the Aegis
attack.
if they see fit.
Dire's structures
This Radiant
are
lineup is
fortified.
starting to accelerate really hard right now.
Radiant structures are
The Brood
fortified.
Ags, all the auras are complete. Chen has a Wolf Creep now. Venge has high levels, so
Matu-
swap level 2 is there.
I believe, yeah, the MKB is now finished on the bear, so
Dire's
that's
top
the big
tower
item
is
timing
under
for him.
attack.
Yep.
Very,
Dire's
very
top
nice. We'll
tower
see.
has fallen.
I mean, as long as he has 2 bears to work with and he doesn't die himself, will certainly deal a lot of damage at the very least. Nisha, in the meantime, has the AC finished, of course. Will be going for a Solar Crest, so
Radiant's
it's all
bottom
about
tower is under
the
attack.
armor / minus armor. And Puppy's actually going for a Force Staff, so more for this Clockwork that's been pestering him the whole game.
Still a bit surprised they're not buying Crimson. Maybe
Yeah,
they just...
I agree. Yeah, Zai's actually,
it's
now
good.
that he's finished drums, is going to be finishing Vlad's very shortly.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, how much do you think
Dire's bottom tower
Crimson
is
falls
under
off?
attack.
Not that this, I mean, if you're going late game, I feel like Secret would have
Dire's
the
bottom
advantage
tower
in terms of
has
just the
fallen.
lineups, but do you think Crimson falls off too much? Is that the reasoning?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I feel like most of the time it would be a no-brainer to bite against Chen Creeps plus Brood, right? So they must just think the item isn't very good. You're not going to find a much better game to buy it than this one. I think. At least it has a lot of value. But they're going to just flat out prioritize armor. So Vlad's AC, maybe they're going to get a Shiva as well to just ramp it up. And obviously the Force Staff from Puppey will be super useful. It's a great item against the Radiant lineup. They don't deal very well with getting repositioned.
Smoke by Secret, see if they can find anybody here. Yapsor, of course, has the Blink Dagger. Oh, they're going to Fissure Brood as his Aegis gets expended. They knew that timing to a T, Cinderin, and they take full advantage of it. Really well played.
Very nice. Yeah, that's the biggest kill on the map they could get. Now they have a full minute of 5v4 opportunity. No Roche, though, but they could probably get this mid-tier, too. If they can get the wave there, but the Spiderlings are cutting mid. So I don't think they're getting it.
Yeah, that is very annoying. Still dead for 40 more seconds, but the majority of Viking is now here. So it looks like Secret's actually going to space things out a bit as Puppey is split pushing a little bit on that Nature's Prophet with Zai. And Nisha looks to set his sights on this tier 2, it looks like. It's relatively low HP. Actually, they're going to come back to mid, though. Fissure's going to show that Viking now knows exactly where Secret is, so they're going to reposition themselves a little bit better here. Yeah, it looks like that tier 2 will be just given up now.
Yep.
What is Nisha buying with this ulti orb? I didn't see it. Is he actually going Manta?
Solar Crest.
Does he have a Yasha or something? Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Solar Crest. So that will be done very shortly.
Secret were like, what else can we buy that has armor? So, what's the next item that has armor?
Oh, hook shot. Gonna connect onto Yapsor. This is why he is building a Force Staff next. You get caught by Clockwork, you are done as an Earthshaker. But it looks like that will be the only kill going the way, at least right now. Zai on the high ground at the moment. Armis. They have vision, but they just have no way to catch. Shad not in range for his level 2 swap at this point. And he's going MKB now on the Venge, so it's going to be a Manta MKB combo. So, combo as in... I mean, you don't really see... How often do you see Venge position 1 these days, Cinderin?
Not very much. But usually when you do, they do go for these kind of fighting builds. Not really so aura heavy, but more true carry style. So it's not that surprising. And the nice thing about the MKB proc in this game is that you're looking at the enemy team, right? And how much they're stacking up on armor. The MKB procs are magical. So they're gonna go through that armor and actually increase Vengeance damage by a quite substantial amount. So I like the logic there. It's also just become a lot more popular, this item in general. I think people are opening up to the fact that it's also received some buffs. So, I mean, it's multiple things at once.
Next big item that's going to be added to Dota will change your attacks to magical damage, Cinderin.
Oh, wow. Where do you have that idea from?
It's from Heroes of North. It's really good, though. I actually think it would be, if you balance it right, it could be pretty fun to have in the game. Just as an option to, you know, get more mixed damage. Because a lot of these lineups, like you're talking about, they can be countered if you just get a lot of armor if you're all physical, or if you just get a couple BKBs for all magical / fight. So you can, it's a nice way to itemize and change things up. As Nisha's gonna pound upon this tier 1, and that looks to be, oh, Toby's actually here, surprisingly enough. But he will retreat.
They want to fight here, but the tower's already gone.
Like they do. Zai's gonna take an impetus. Shad, of course, that is one way to initiate getting that swap online. But of course, you are playing a position 1 Venge as Armis. With those cogs, Nisha just one-shots those spiders. Oh dear. There's the Force Staff being used onto Nisha, and a couple right clicks to follow. So, yeah, he does a lot of damage to them.
It is. I think you just accept that your spiders are not playable, except if Tiny is dead, or not at the part of the fight you're at, because right now this is a... He actually even took the spider at damage attack talent, right? So he's definitely committed to the idea of the spiders being strong. I'm very curious to see what he does on 25. if he takes the health on the spiders or takes his own insatiable hunger talent.
Yeah.
It's pretty telling.
I feel like if you go the spider attack damage, you kind of have to go the health, don't you? Maybe if you regret your decision, then you switch it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, you know, that's one of the things about talents. The state of the game, you can build for one timing, and then once that's over, you might want to go a different route because the timing has like
Dire are scanning.
the moment where you really wanted this talent, it didn't win you enough, and then you have to kind of recover. Just as how you do with itemization sometimes, right? Like talents is another way where you can get a different read on the game state.
Oh
Like,
god. Nisha gets the double damage, and they know that Roche is up, but this Roche is going very, very fast. And looks like Clockwork's going to try to slow things down, but a huge echo slam by Yasuo onto 3 heroes, but Roche is taken, and Boom is going to reap the rewards. But Clockwork and Venge die immediately. The Clockwork's going to buy back into the game, but your position 1 Venge is donezo. Brood destroys that bear, and he is in hardcore ridiculous mode with his arms flailing all over the place. Cinderin again as Celery already at half HP from 1 swing from Nisha, and the Doom was applied to Brood. Of course, remember, the Aegis is still there, so he doesn't really care too much. Now we're going to apply all his sights onto Nisha, trying to kite a little bit here. Remember, their Venge still cannot buy back in this game. Clockwork is going to die back now. Good fissure, blocking people off. Zai is tossed in. He's going to apply his sights now onto this Enchantress. Looks like Boom is going to get away safely, but Toby looks to not be in the same category here. So that is going to be 4 dead if you count the dieback onto Clockwork, but Aegis is still intact along with the cheese.
It's pretty alright. Pretty alright for Viking,
tower is
unless
under
this
attack.
hurts too much. Because this lineup from Secret, it takes buildings
Radiant's
real
middle
fast.
tower
You still have
has
2 dead
fallen.
for 30 seconds. Nisha and Matu together can make quick work of this barracks.
Radiant structures are
Gonna go
fortified.
They need their Clockwork.
Oh, good fissure.
Fissure into the stomp, and that is enough to kill the Venge again, and the illusion on top to add insult to injury. And they know she doesn't have buyback because she just didn't use it before. So
Oh my
definitely
God,
not
Brood can't
online as
fight this.
Boom pops the BKB and his ult, but it's not enough
Radiant's middle
to withstand this right-click damage from Nisha. This is crazy. The minus armor is insane, and that is the Aegis down. The melee racks has already fallen. Nisha, not a whole lot of mana to speak of. See if they can kill Boom a second time. Doesn't look to be the case. Diffusal now on Matamba Men's Bear. Nisha, looks like Secret want to back up here. 15 seconds and the Venge will return. That was a huge kill on Venge, and that kind of opened up everything for Secret as they now sport a 7k net worth lead at 28 minutes. They're going to apply some damage to this tier 3 here in the bot lane. By apply damage, I mean they're going to kill it very easily. All right, Venge is here now. The stun on top of the barrier.
good Doom
Big stun
stomp.
from Zai. Essentially a Ravage into an Echo Slam. My lord! This wombo combo from Secret will ensure a second Rax at the very least. Boom is forced to pop the cheese as he flails his arm even more. And nobody can deal with Nisha right now. Zai jumps in with his hand, the purple hand of death, if you will. Nobody's giving a high five as they're about to GG out of this. Game 1 for Secret. That was
What a
disgusting
sick
combo.
stomp from Zai. Blink 3-man War Stomp gives ample time for Yapzor to get in position, get a beautiful Echo Slam there, and that's one way to win the game. And that's what we were talking about with Viking, right? Like this lineup, I actually think they played it pretty damn well. Once again, like I want to give this team credit every game we see them play against Secret, even though they've lost 3 in a row now. Like they're playing good Dota, but you're playing a lineup that's so volatile that if 1 or 2 moments go wrong, everything can just fall apart. And it's not just your own lineup, it's what you're facing. One bad team fight, Lone Druid Tiny are going to take your whole base. So you need to make sure that you can fight, and Viking put up a pretty good fight, but it wasn't enough.
I mean, this was a 29-minute game, essentially. At 25 minutes, it was, in terms of net worth, basically even.
Yep.
And it just drops off a cliff after. It was essentially the Roche fight where Venge dies, does not have buyback. Then when she revives, she dies immediately again. That was actually just GG right there. So just a couple mistakes, a couple missteps, like you said. But that is game 1 of this best of 3 between Secret and Viking. If Viking loses the next game, they are out. And Secret will move on. So we'll see if they will accomplish that or not. So we'll return very shortly, guys, with game 2 between Secret and Viking.